The campfire crackled under the night sky. June Kim poked the burning logs with a stick, sending sparks flying into the dark. Next to him, his wife Sue smiled as she watched their 8-year-old twins, Han and Yun, roast marshmallows. "Don't burn them this time," Sue said, laughing as Han pulled his marshmallow away from the fire. It was golden brown. "Perfect." "I'm getting better," Han said. His sister Yun rolled her eyes but smiled. The family had come to Maple Mountain for their summer trip. The small camping site sat near a lake, 3 hours from their home in the coastal town of Hainem. The year was 2087, and while the world had changed much, family camping trips remained the same. "Can we go see the stars by the lake?" Yun asked. She loved the stars and knew many of their names. Jun checked his watch. 30 minutes, then bed. "We have hiking tomorrow." The twins jumped up, excited. Sue handed them small flashlights. "Stay within sight of the camp," she said. "We will." The twins called back, already running toward the lake path. The path was short and well marked. Han and Yun walked slowly once they reached the small wooden dock that stretched into the calm water. The night was clear, and the stars shone brightly above them. "Look," Yun pointed up. "That's the Big Dipper, and there's the North Star." Han nodded, only half listening. He was looking at the dark water, wondering if fish slept at night. That's when they noticed it. The air around them seemed to hum. The twins looked at each other in confusion. "Do you hear that?" Han asked. Yun nodded. "What is it?" The humming grew louder. Then the air above the lake began to shimmer, like heat waves on a hot road. The water below rippled in perfect circles. "We should go back," Han said, grabbing his sister's hand. But before they could turn, a bright light flashed above them. It was so strong they had to close their eyes. When they opened them, they saw something impossible. A large, disc-shaped object hovered silently over the lake. It was not very high, maybe 20 meters above the water. Soft blue lights pulsed around its edge. "Han," Yun whispered, squeezing her brother's hand tightly. "Dad," Han yelled. "Mom." His voice echoed across the lake, but another flash of light came before anyone could answer. This light was different, a thin beam that shot down from the disc, surrounding the children. Han felt his feet leave the dock. He tried to run, but his legs moved like he was swimming in honey. Beside him, Yun was crying, also floating upward. "Help!" she screamed. At the campsite, Jun looked up from the fire. He heard faint screams. "The kids," he said to Sue, jumping to his feet. They ran toward the lake. A strange light flashed through the trees ahead, then disappeared. When they reached the dock, it was empty. The lake was calm. The stars shone as before, but Han and Yun were gone. "Han, Yun," Jun yelled, his voice breaking with fear. Sue frantically searched the dock, the shore, the water's edge. Nothing. Within hours, park rangers and police filled the area. Search dogs sniffed the children's clothes and ran along the shore, but lost the scent at the end of the dock. Boats searched the lake while drones flew overhead with thermal cameras. Nothing. 3 days later, investigators showed Jun and Sue the only clue they had: footage from a weather camera on a nearby hill. It had been recording the night sky when a brief flash of light appeared over the lake at exactly 9:42 p.m., the time the twins disappeared. The official report called it unexplained light phenomena, possibly ball lightning. No one mentioned the strange, disc-shaped shadow that appeared for just 2 frames of the video. 6 months passed, then a year. Search efforts slowed. People stopped talking about the missing Kim twins. But Jun and Sue never stopped looking. They moved their lives to a small cabin near the lake. Every night, Jun would walk to the dock and call his children's names. Every morning, Sue would check news reports for missing children who had been found. They didn't know that their children were no longer on Earth. They couldn't know that Han and Eon were now among the stars that Eon had loved so much, traveling far beyond the edges of our solar system. And they couldn't possibly know that the abduction of their children would one day be remembered as the biggest mistake in galactic history. Han opened his eyes slowly. A bright white light hurt his vision. He tried to lift his hand to block it, but his arm would not move. Panic filled his chest. "Eon," he called out. His voice sounded strange in his ears. "I'm here," came his sister's voice from somewhere to his right. "I can't move, Han. Where are we?" Han turned his head. That much he could do. He saw his sister lying on a flat surface like his. She wore a silver suit that covered her body. Han looked down. He wore the same. The room around them was white and smooth. No doors or windows that he could see. Just white walls that seemed to glow. "I don't know," Han said. "This isn't the lake." Memories came back in pieces. The camping trip. The stars. The strange light over the water. Then, nothing. A sound like air escaping made both children turn their heads. A section of the wall slid open. A figure walked in. It was not human. The being stood taller than any adult Han had seen. It had 4 arms and skin that looked like smooth gray stone. Its head was long with no hair, and its eyes were large and black. It wore no clothes, but its body seemed covered in small, shiny patches that glowed with soft blue light. "The specimens are awake," the being said. Its mouth didn't move, but Han heard the words in his head. "Who are you?" Eon asked, her voice shaking. "Where are our mom and dad?" The being tilted its head. "They hear our thoughts." "Interesting." It moved closer to Eon. "You are on the research vessel Empirical Truth. I am Chief Researcher Kelthera." "We want to go home," Han said, trying to sound brave. "That is not possible," Kelthera replied. "You are part of an important study now." Another section of wall opened. 2 more aliens entered, pushing floating platforms. On each platform was a child. Han counted 6 platforms. 6 more children. "Are these the last ones?" Kelthera asked. "Yes, Chief Researcher," one of the new aliens said. 32 specimens total, as ordered." Kelthera moved to a wall and waved a hand. A panel of light appeared. The alien touched symbols on it, and suddenly Han could move his arms. Around the room, other children were also moving, sitting up, looking around with fear. "You will not be harmed if you cooperate," Kelthera said to all of them. "You are here to help us understand your species." A small girl with dark skin started crying. "I want my mommy." Han looked at Eon. Her eyes were closed tight, and her face looked strange. "Eon, are you okay?" he whispered. When she opened her eyes, she looked surprised. "I can feel them, Han. In my head. They're curious about us. They think we're like animals." "How do you know that?" Han asked. "I don't know. I just feel it." One of the other aliens approached Kelthera. "Chief, the human female appears to have empathic abilities. Our reports said humans have no psychic capabilities." "Noted," Kelthera said. "Update the file. Begin monitoring for other unexpected traits." Han looked around the room. There were children of all types. Some were crying. Others looked angry or scared. Han noticed a panel near his platform with blinking lights. It looked like the control panels from science shows he watched at home. While the aliens talked, Han reached out slowly and touched the panel. The lights changed color. He pressed another spot. His platform lowered a little. "Interesting," Han whispered. He tried more touches. With each one, he understood a little more about how it worked. Kelthera turned suddenly. "The male specimen is interfacing with the containment systems. Stop him." But it was too late. Han had figured out the basic controls. All the platforms in the room lowered to the floor at once. "Get off and stay together," Han called to the other children. "Impossible," the second alien said. "They cannot understand our technology so quickly." Gun jumped down from her platform and ran to Han. The other children followed. They show unusual adaptability, Kelthera said. This changes our approach. Begin Phase 2 immediately. The Narvik Collective will be pleased with these specimens. As the aliens moved toward them, Han looked at the scared children around him. He didn't know where they were or how to get home. But he knew one thing. They had to stay together. "We're going to be okay," he told the group, hoping it was true. "We just need to watch and learn." What none of the children knew was that they were already millions of miles from Earth, traveling deeper into space with each passing second. And what the aliens didn't know was that they had just made the biggest mistake any species in the galaxy had ever made. They had taken human children, and human children learn fast. 10 years passed on Earth. The leaves at Maple Mountain turned from green to red and back again 10 times. The lake where Han and Eun disappeared froze and thawed with each season. June and Soo Kim still lived in their small cabin by the lake. The search for their children had long ago stopped being a police matter. Officers had moved on to new cases. The world had forgotten the missing twins. But June and Soo never forgot. "It's been 10 years today," Soo said, placing a small cake with 2 candles on their table. They still celebrated the twins' birthday each year. Today, Han and Eun would have turned 18. "I saw them again in my dream," Jun said, his hand shaking as he lit the candles. "They were older, but I knew it was them." Soo nodded. People called them crazy now. The couple who claimed aliens took their children, but they knew what they saw in that video from the weather camera. Far away from Earth, beyond the reach of human telescopes, Han and Eun were indeed 18 now. They lived on the biggest ship in the Narvik fleet, a massive vessel called the Mother Science. "Dole is coming," Eun whispered to her brother as they sat in the learning center. Like the other human captives, they wore the silver suits they had been given when they first arrived. But they were no longer children. They were young adults now, taller and stronger. Han nodded. Dole was different from the other Narvik researchers. He was kinder. He talked to the humans like they were people, not test subjects. The door slid open, and Dole entered. Though all Narvik looked similar to human eyes, the humans had learned to tell them apart. Dole had a scar on his long face and eyes that seemed less cold than the others. "Today we will study galactic politics," Dole said, activating the room's viewing screen. "Pay close attention." On the screen appeared images of many different alien species. Some looked almost like humans. Others were nothing like anything the humans had ever seen. "The Galactic Council has 53 member species," Dole explained. "The Narvik are one of the oldest members. Humans are not members because your planet is considered too primitive for contact." "Then why did you take us?" asked Yu, a boy who had been taken from his home in Seoul the same night as the twins. Dole looked at the door to make sure no other Narvik were near. "Because my people break the rules. The Council forbids taking sentient beings for study. What happened to you was wrong." This was new information. The humans looked at each other with surprise. "We've learned so much from you," Han said. He spoke the Narvik language perfectly now. All the humans did. "We know your science, your math, your technology. We learn faster than you expected." Dole nodded. "Much faster. That's why some researchers are scared. They want to end the program." "End it how?" Eun asked, feeling a chill. She had gotten better at reading Narvik emotions over the years. What she felt from Dole now was fear. "They plan to terminate all of you," Dole said quietly. "Chief Researcher Kelthera thinks you're becoming too advanced. Too dangerous." Han stood up. "We need to leave this ship." "Impossible," Dole said. "Where would you go?" "Home," Jin said. She was good with maps and had studied the stars for years. "We want to go to Earth." Dole shook his head. "The Narvik would follow you there. They would destroy your world to keep their secret." One closed her eyes. When she opened them, they were full of determination. "Then we go to the Galactic Council. We tell them what the Narvik did. We show them that humans are ready for first contact. Dahl seems surprised. That is not a bad plan. But you would need to escape first, and you would need proof of what was done to you. Han smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had waited a long time for this moment. We've been planning to escape for years, he said. And as for proof, he pulled up his sleeve to show a small device attached to his skin. I've recorded everything since the day we got here. Dole looked impressed. When did you make that? 2 years ago, Han said. From parts I took from the science lab. We're not just learning your technology, Dole. We're improving it. For the first time, Dole understood what Kelthera feared. These humans were not just test subjects. They were something new, something powerful. And they were ready to fight back. They're moving us again, Yu whispered as he passed Han in the food hall. Tomorrow, different ships. Han nodded slightly. The Narvak had been splitting up the humans for years, placing them on different ships in their fleet. It made planning harder, but not impossible. Han touched the small device hidden under his silver sleeve. It wasn't just a recorder. It was also a communicator he had built from stolen parts. All 32 humans had one now. That night, when the ship's lights dimmed for rest period, Han activated his device. A small blue light glowed on his wrist as he spoke softly. Everyone ready for tomorrow. One by one, voices answered from across the fleet. Some clear, some with static. Ready. Ready. We're ready here. Last came Yun's voice. Han, they put me on Kelthera's personal ship. I heard them talking. They're not just moving us. They're starting to get rid of us. Some first, then others. Han's heart beat faster. Then we move tomorrow during transfer. No more waiting. It's sooner than we planned, said Jin. The scout ship might not be where we need it. Yu, what do you think? Han asked. Yu had the best mind for planning. He could see paths others missed. For 3 years, he had been mapping guard movements and ship schedules. It's risky, Yu said. But Yun is right. If we wait, some of us won't make it. Tomorrow during transfer is our best chance. Everyone knows what to do. Han asked. Yes, they all replied. Sleep well, Han said. Tomorrow we take back our freedom. Morning came. Han was escorted by 2 Narvak guards to a transfer bay. 3 other humans were there, looking nervous but ready. They gave Han small nods. Through the large viewing window, Han could see other ships of the fleet. Somewhere out there, Yun and the others were also being moved. Prepare for transfer, a Narvak voice announced. The guards moved the humans toward a small shuttlecraft. Han looked at the others and nodded. It was time. The first human, a girl named Mai, suddenly fell to the floor, holding her stomach. I'm sick, she cried. Help me. The guards moved toward her. That's when Han struck. He pressed a hidden button on his wrist device. All the lights in the transfer bay went out. In the darkness, Han moved quickly. The Narvak could see better than humans in the dark, but Han had practiced for this moment for years. He knew exactly where to hit to make a Narvak fall. When the emergency lights came on 30 seconds later, both guards were on the floor, and the humans were taking their weapons. The door, Han shouted. One human, Tai, ran to the control panel and started pressing buttons. The door to the shuttle opened. Let's go, Han said. The 4 humans ran into the shuttle. Han went straight to the control panel. It was different from the one he had practiced on, but similar enough. I need 1 minute, he said as his fingers flew over the controls. Alarms began to sound throughout the ship. The Narvak knew something was wrong. Han, hurry, Mai said, looking out the window where guards were running toward the bay. Almost there, Han said. The shuttle's engines hummed to life. Got it. The shuttle lifted off just as the bay doors began to close. They slipped through with inches to spare. Now we need to pick up the others, Han said, steering the small craft toward another ship in the fleet. How will we get to Yun? Tai asked. Kelthera's ship will be the most guarded. We go there last, Han said. By then, they'll know something is happening. As they approached the next ship, they could see activity. Narvak ships were moving, trying to block them. They're onto us, Mai said. Han smiled grimly. Good. I want Kelthera to watch as we take everyone back. The communicator on his wrist buzzed. It was Ian. Han, I'm using my abilities to confuse the guards. They can't find me. I'm heading to the escape pods. No, Han said quickly. Those are too small. We need the scout ship for everyone. Can you get to the main hangar? I think so, Yun said. But there are a lot of guards. We're coming, Han promised. All of us. Today we show the Narvak what happens when you take children from Earth. As the small shuttle raced between the massive alien ships, the humans prepared for the fight of their lives. They had been taken as helpless children, but they would escape as something much more dangerous. They would escape as humans who were done being tested on. The small shuttle shook as it dodged between massive Narvak ships. Han gripped the controls tightly. Behind him, Ta, Nai, and two more humans they had picked up watched the screens nervously. There's the science vessel, Mai said, pointing to a smaller ship ahead. You and 7 others are there. The shuttle's communication system crackled. A deep Narvak voice filled the cabin. Human specimens, return to your designated areas immediately. This is Chief Researcher Kelthera. You are damaging valuable property. Han ignored the message. He steered the shuttle toward a docking bay on the science vessel. They're not opening the doors, Ta said. Han smiled. They will. He pressed a button on his wrist device. Inside the science vessel, you and the other humans had been busy. For months, they had made small changes to the ship's systems. Now, you activated those changes. The docking bay doors slid open. It worked. Mi shouted as Han guided the shuttle inside. Guards waited for them, weapons ready. But as the shuttle landed, the artificial gravity in the bay suddenly turned off. The Narvak guards floated helplessly, unable to use their weapons properly. They're too used to their gravity, Han said as he and the others pushed out of the shuttle. Unlike the guards, the humans had practiced moving in zero gravity during their training sessions. They easily avoided the floating guards and made their way to where you and the others waited by a door. Good to see you, Yu said. You too, Han replied. Where's the nearest ship that can hold all of us? Yu pointed to a screen showing a map of the fleet. Main hangar on the command ship. There's a scout vessel large enough for everyone, but it's heavily guarded. Han nodded. That's where we're going. Everyone ready? The humans nodded. They had grown strong during their years in captivity. The Narvak had higher gravity on their ships than Earth did. This made the humans stronger than they would have been at home. They fought their way through the ship, using their stolen weapons and knowledge of Narvak weak points. Soon, they were back on the shuttle with 7 more humans. As they flew toward the next ship, Jin contacted them. Han, I've mapped the quickest way to get everyone, she said. But the Narvak are catching on. They're sending ships to block us. We need a distraction, Han said. I have an idea, Jin replied. The fleet's communication network. I can send a false alarm to half their ships. Do it, Han ordered. Moments later, alarms blared across the fleet. Half the Narvak ships suddenly changed direction, thinking they were under attack from an outside force. In the confusion, Han's shuttle moved from ship to ship, collecting more humans. Soon, they had 25 of the 32. Where's Ian? Han asked, as they prepared to head for Kelthera's command ship. Still on board with 6 others, Jin said, but security is extremely tight. Han's face hardened. We're going in. Everyone, check your weapons. The command ship loomed before them, massive and threatening. As they approached, laser fire streaked past the shuttle. They're shooting at us, Mi shouted. Hold on, Han called as he rolled the shuttle to avoid the blasts. We'll make it fit, Han said. The shuttle scraped into the bay with a horrible sound of tearing metal. But they were in. Move, 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 Han shouted as they poured out of the damaged shuttle. On the bridge of the command ship, Kelthera watched in disbelief as alarms showed humans moving through the lower levels. How are they doing this? The chief researcher demanded. They're just primitive specimens. A guard approached nervously. Chief, we've lost contact with holding Area 3. The female, Eon, has escaped with the others. Kelthera slammed a fist down. Find them. Stop them from reaching the hangar. But it was too late. Eon had spent years practicing her mental abilities. Now she used them to their fullest, confusing the guards and hiding her group from view. When Han and his team reached the main hangar, they found Eon waiting with the 6 remaining humans. You're late, she said with a smile. Han hugged his sister tightly. The scout ship. Eon pointed to a sleek vessel at the far end of the hangar. Right there, and I've already started the engines. All 32 humans raced for the scout ship. Behind them, doors burst open as Narvak guards poured in. Go, 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 Han shouted as they ran up the ramp. Jin went straight to the pilot's seat, her hands flying over the controls. The engines roared to life. As the ship lifted off, Han looked back at the Narvik fleet through the viewing window. For 10 years, it had been their prison. Now it was behind them. Where to? Jin asked. Han and Eon looked at each other. The Galactic Council, they said together. The scout ship traveled through space for 5 days. The humans took turns sleeping and watching the controls. Jin plotted their course using star maps she had memorized during her years with the Narvik. How much longer? Han asked, as he joined Jin at the control panel. 2 more days, she said. The Galactic Council headquarters is in a system called Veridon. Dunn sat nearby with her eyes closed. She had been practicing focusing her mental abilities. The Narvak are following us, she said suddenly. 3 ships. I can feel their anger. Han nodded. We expected that, but they won't attack near the council. They'd reveal themselves. You approached with a small device. I finished the translation unit. When we reach the council, this will help us speak to any species. Good, Han said. Everyone should rest while they can. The real fight starts when we arrive. 2 days later, the scout ship entered the Veridon system. Out the windows, the humans saw something amazing. A massive ring-shaped structure floating in space. Ships of all shapes and sizes moved around it. That's the council headquarters, Jin said in awe. It's bigger than I imagined. As they approached, a voice came through their communication system. The words were strange, but Yu's translator worked perfectly. Unidentified vessel, state your purpose and species. Han took a deep breath. This is Han Kim of Earth. We are humans seeking asylum and justice from the Galactic Council. There was a long pause. Earth is not a council member world. Your species is classified as pre-contact. Please explain your presence in council space. We were taken from Earth as children by the Narvak Collective, Han explained. They violated your laws. We have proof. Another long pause followed. Proceed to docking Bay 47. Representatives will meet you. The scout ship was guided to the massive ring. As they docked, the humans gathered near the exit. Remember, Han said, stay calm. Show them we are not primitive. Show them what humans are capable of. When the doors opened, they faced 6 beings from different species. In the center stood a tall, slender alien with pale blue skin and 4 arms. I am Simta, council representative, the blue alien said. Your claim is unexpected. But true, Han said, stepping forward. He handed Simta the recording device from his wrist. 10 years of evidence. The alien took the device carefully. This will be reviewed. Until then, you will be given quarters. We stay together, Yun said firmly. Simta studied her. As you wish. The humans were led to a large room with comfortable seats and beds. Food was brought that tasted better than anything they had eaten in the Narvak ships. Hours later, Simta returned with several other aliens. Their faces showed shock, or what passed for shock on their non-human features. "We have reviewed your evidence," Simta said. "The council has called an emergency session. The Narvak representative has been summoned." "They're already here," Yun said quietly. 3 ships just docked." Simta looked at her with surprise. "How do you know this?" "She can sense them," Han explained. "Fascinating," Simta said. "Such abilities are rare." The humans were brought to a massive chamber. Hundreds of aliens sat in rising seats, like a giant theater. In the center was an open area with a floating platform. "You will present your case," Simta explained. "The Narvak will respond." As the humans entered, murmurs spread through the chamber. Many had never seen humans before. A group of Narvak entered from another door. At their head walked Chief Researcher Kelthera and a larger, more decorated Narvak. "Supreme Commander Mok," Yu whispered, "the leader of the Narvak Collective." Mok pointed at the humans. "These are escaped research subjects. They are Narvak property." The chamber erupted in shocked voices. Simta raised all 4 arms for silence. "Supreme Commander, you claim ownership of sentient beings." "They are not sentient by council standards," Kelthera argued. "Their world is primitive. They have no faster-than-light travel." Han stepped onto the platform. "Yet here we are. We learned your language, your science, your technology. We escaped your ships and crossed half the galaxy to get here." He activated a projection showing scenes from their captivity. "We were children," he said, his voice strong. "Taken from our homes, experimented on, treated like animals." The chamber grew silent as the images played. "The Narvak broke your most sacred law," Han continued. "And we are proof that humans are ready to join the galactic community." As the council watched in growing horror, the truth was revealed at last. For 3 days, the Galactic Council listened to testimony. The humans took turns sharing their stories. Each told of being taken from Earth, of years of tests and experiments. They showed the skills they had learned and the technology they had mastered. The Narvak representatives grew more angry with each passing hour. Supreme Commander Mok often interrupted, calling the humans liars and thieves. "These specimens stole a valuable ship," Mok shouted during the final day of testimony. "They should be returned to us immediately." Simta, the blue-skinned council representative, raised a hand for silence. "The evidence is clear. The Narvak Collective violated our most sacred law, the protection of pre-contact worlds." The massive chamber was quiet as Simta continued. "For thousands of years, the Council has agreed that developing worlds must be left alone until they achieve faster-than-light travel. This law exists to protect young species." Han stood tall as he addressed the Council for the final time. "We don't ask for pity," he said. "We ask for justice, and we ask for Earth to be recognized. Humans are ready to join the galactic community." The Council members talked among themselves for several minutes. Finally, Simta spoke again. "The Council has made 2 decisions. First, the Narvak Collective is found guilty of violating the Protection of Developing Worlds Act. Their research authority is revoked. They must pay compensation to the humans they took." Commander Mok's face darkened with rage, but he remained silent. "Second," Simta continued, regarding Earth's status as a council member. The humans held their breath. "The request is denied. Earth remains classified as pre-contact. Official first contact will not be authorized." "What?" Yun stepped forward. "After everything we've shown you, you 32 humans have shown remarkable abilities," Simta said. "But you are not representative of your entire species. Earth must develop faster than light travel on its own before contact can be made." Han felt a deep disappointment. "And what about us? We can't return to Earth without breaking your law ourselves." "You will be granted special status," Simta explained. "You may live in Council space as refugees, but you cannot return to Earth with knowledge of the wider galaxy." The humans looked at each other in shock. They had won against the Narvak, but lost their chance to go home. As the council session ended, the humans gathered in their quarters to discuss what had happened. "We can't just accept this," Nye said angrily. "We've been away from our families for 10 years, and Earth remains unprotected," you added. "The Narvak might seek revenge." Han nodded grimly. "You're right. The Narvak won't simply accept punishment. They'll want to strike back. At us," Jin said, "or at Earth." Eun, who had been quiet, suddenly spoke up. "I felt something from Commander Mok during the trial. He was already planning something. Something about harvesting Earth." Han's blood ran cold. "We need to warn Earth. Even if we can't go home, we can't leave our planet defenseless." "But how?" Tai asked. "The Council won't allow contact." Han thought for a moment. "We don't need the Council's permission. We need to send a message that Earth's scientists can understand. Something that will help them prepare defenses." "I can help with that," said Jin. "I studied Earth's level of technology. I know what they could build with what they have." Yu smiled slowly. "And I know how to hide a transmission from the Council." "Then we have work to do," Han said. "Let's make it clear to the Narvak that taking human children was their biggest mistake." That night, while the Galactic Council celebrated its judgment, the humans gathered around communications equipment they had modified. Jin had drawn detailed plans for defense systems that Earth could build. Han had written a message that would be understood by Earth's scientists. "Ready?" Han asked the group. They all nodded. "Sending now," Yu said, activating the hidden transmitter. The message shot through space, heading for a small blue planet in a distant solar system. On that planet, in a small cabin by a lake, a computer that had been scanning the stars for 10 years suddenly began to beep. Joon Kim sat up quickly when he heard the beeping. For 10 years, he had kept the computer running, scanning for any unusual signals. Most people thought he was crazy, but he never stopped believing. "Sue," he called to his wife. "Come quickly." Sue rushed into the room. Her hair had gray streaks now, and worry lines marked her face. But her eyes still held hope. "What is it?" she asked. "A signal," Jum said, pointing to the screen. "Not like anything I've seen before." The computer screen showed strange patterns and numbers. At first, they made no sense. Then Jun noticed something. "Look," he said, "this pattern repeats, like someone is trying to get our attention." Over the next few days, Jun and Sue worked to understand the message. They had both become experts in signals and codes during their years of searching. Slowly, they began to make sense of it. "It's coordinates," Sue said on the third day, "and some kind of technical plans." "But who sent it?" Jun wondered. "And why?" At the end of the message was something that made their hearts stop. 2 simple words. Han. Yevon. "It's them," Sue whispered, tears filling her eyes. "They're alive." Jun grabbed his phone. Over the years, he had formed a small network of people who believed him. Other parents of missing children, a few scientists, and 2 military officers who had seen strange things in the sky. "We need to meet," he told them. "I have proof." No one believed them at first. The government officials they approached called them crazy. Scientists said the signal was just space noise. But Jun and Sue did not give up. They found a young professor named Dr. Park who was willing to look at the technical plans in the message. "This is incredible," Dr. Park said after studying them. "These are designs for some kind of defense system, like nothing I've ever seen. But the strange thing is, we could actually build this with our current technology." "Will you help us?" Sue asked. Dr. Park nodded slowly. "I have friends at the Space Defense Agency. They should see this." 16 years had passed since the abduction. Earth had changed. People looked up at the stars more nervously now. There had been more strange sightings, more unexplained lights in the sky. 3 months after receiving the message, Jun and Sue sat in a meeting room at the Space Defense Agency headquarters. Military leaders and scientists listened as Dr. Park explained the signal and the plans it contained. "We believe these are plans for a planetary defense system," Dr. Park said. "And we believe they were sent by some of the children who went missing years ago." "That's impossible," General Lee said. "Those children are dead." "No," Jones said firmly. "They were taken. And now they're warning us that something is coming." To everyone's surprise, General Lee did not argue. Instead, he pressed a button, and a screen on the wall lit up. "3 weeks ago, our new deep space telescope captured this," he said. The screen showed several large objects moving through space. They were clearly ships of some kind, and they were heading toward Earth. "We estimate they will reach our solar system in 6 months," General Lee continued. "We've kept this quiet to prevent panic." Sue stood up. "Those are the ones who took our children, and now they're coming back." "How could you possibly know that?" another official asked. "Because our children told us," Jim said. In their message. The room was silent for a long moment. Then General Lee spoke again. "Dr. Park, how quickly can we build the defense system in those plans?" "With unlimited resources. 4 months, maybe 5. General Lee nodded. "You'll have everything you need. We start today." As the meeting ended, June and Sue walked outside. For the first time in 16 years, they felt something besides grief. "They're coming home," Sue said, looking up at the stars. "One way or another, our children are coming home." What they didn't know was that far across the galaxy, Han, Yun, and the other humans were also preparing to return to Earth against the direct orders of the Galactic Council. On the edge of Earth's solar system, 15 massive Narvak ships appeared out of faster-than-light travel. On the bridge of the largest ship, Supreme Commander Mach looked at the small blue planet displayed on the main screen. "Begin the harvest," Mach ordered. "Take all suitable subjects for our new research program." "Yes, Commander," Kelthera replied. "Our scans show they have no meaningful defenses. This will be simple." The Narvak fleet moved toward Earth, confident in their superior technology. They had faced many primitive worlds before. None had ever stopped them. But as they passed the orbit of Mars, something unexpected happened. Hidden sensors detected the Narvak ships and sent alerts to Earth. In a command center built deep under a mountain, General Lee watched as red dots appeared on the large display screen. "They're here," he said. "Activate the defense grid." Around the world, strange towers that had been built in secret over the past months powered up. They looked like nothing Earth had made before because they weren't fully Earth technology. They were built from the plans sent by Han, Yun, and the other humans. As the Narvak ships entered Earth orbit, ready to begin capturing humans, the towers fired. Beams of energy shot into space, creating a web of light around the planet. On his ship, Mach was shocked. "What is this?" he demanded. "How do they have this technology?" "Sir," a Narvak officer called out, "we're detecting a transmission being sent to Earth from the defense grid." "Block it," Mach ordered. "We can't," the officer replied. "It's using our own communication protocols." Across Earth, every screen, phone, and communication device showed the same message. "People of Earth, we are the children who were taken. We learned the enemy's ways. We built these defenses. Stay strong. Help is coming." In their cabin by the lake, June and Sue watched the message with tears in their eyes. "That's Han's voice," Sue whispered. "Our son." The Narvak ships fired on Earth's new defenses, but their weapons had little effect. The defense grid, designed by humans who knew Narvak technology inside and out, held strong. "Impossible," Kelthera said. "How could they build this? They're primitive." Mach slammed his fist down. "It's those escaped specimens. They must have sent plans to Earth." Before Mach could give new orders, alarms sounded across the Narvak fleet. New ships detected. An officer called out, "Coming out of faster-than-light travel." 3 ships appeared behind the Narvak fleet. One was large and clearly powerful. The other two were smaller but moved quickly. On the bridge of the smallest ship stood Han, Yun, and several other humans. "This is Han Kim of Earth." Han's voice came through to all the Narvak ships. "We have returned with representatives of the Galactic Council. Your attack on Earth violates your sentencing. Surrender now." The large ship was a Council peacekeeping vessel. After discovering the humans' secret message to Earth and learning of the Narvak fleet's departure, the Council had finally acted. "Never," Mach shouted back. "Earth is not under Council protection." "It is now," replied a new voice. Simta appeared on the screen. "The Council has voted. Earth's status has been changed to protected developing world. Stand down your weapons." The Narvak refused to surrender. Instead, they turned their ships to attack the Council vessel. It was their final mistake. Earth's defense grid, combined with the Council ship, trapped the Narvak fleet. From their small ship, Han and the other humans coordinated the attack, using everything they had learned about Narvak weaknesses. Within hours, the battle was over. The Narvak ships were disabled, their crews captured. 2 days later, a small shuttle landed by a lake in what had once been a campground. As the door opened, Han and Yun stepped out, now 26 years old. They looked different, taller, stronger, with eyes that had seen the stars. Waiting for them were two people who had never given up hope. "Mom, Dad," Han said, his voice breaking. June and Sue ran forward, enveloping their children in a tight embrace. No one spoke. No one needed to. Later that day, as the sun set over the lake, Simta stood before a group of Earth's leaders. "Your children have shown us that humans are far more capable than we believed," the Council representative said. "Earth will now join the galactic community as a protected member." "And the Narvak?" General Lee asked. "Their collective has been dissolved," Simta replied. "Their leaders will face justice." That night, as celebrations took place around the world, Han and Yun sat with their parents by the lake where they had been taken 16 years before. "Was it worth it?" June asked quietly. "All those years away?" Han looked up at the stars, now full of new meaning and possibilities.